You just got the call. The job interview is in 3 days. Panic mode? Not anymore. In this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to prepare for a job interview fast, the step-by-step 3-day plan, using storytelling, neuroscience, and recruiter psychology to show you how to mentally, emotionally, and strategically prepare for any interview, and I mean really fast, even if you feel totally unprepared right now. Whether it's your first interview or your 10th, this 3-day action plan will get you confident, clear, and ready to impress. Don't click away, because I'll walk you through what to do each day, what questions to expect, how to answer them, and the secret techniques to stand out from other candidates, even if you're short on time. But before we get into it, if you're serious about landing that job, don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, and hit that notification bell, because this is how we fuel your career growth, one smart move at a time, and let's get you hired, fast. Let's dive in. 1. Let me make a scene. Imagine this. You just got the email. It's 3:24 p.m. You scroll, you pause, and you reread it twice, because it says exactly what you hoped for. We'd love to invite you to a final interview this Friday at 11 a.m. You receive that email while you're not prepared? You late, but here is hack on how you can track your time and still pass your job interview. And just like that, the countdown begins. You've got 3 days, 72 hours, 4,320 minutes. But instead of feeling excited, your stomach sinks. Because suddenly, the questions start flooding your mind. How do I prep? What do I say? What if I blank out? What do they want to hear? And that's when it hits you. You're not afraid of the interview. You're afraid of wasting time preparing the wrong way. Here's the truth no one tells you. You don't need 3 weeks to prepare for a great interview. You need 3 days of deep alignment with the role, with yourself, and with the person on the other side of that Zoom screen or office desk. Because the candidates who walk in and win, they're not the ones who cram the most buzzwords. They're the ones who learned to master their mindset, build a strategy, and walk in already living the version of themselves the job is hiring for. In this video, I'm going to walk you through a step-by-step 3-day plan using storytelling, neuroscience, and recruiter psychology to show you how to mentally, emotionally, and strategically prepare for any interview. And at the center of it is a mastermind hack that rewires your brain for high-stakes performance in record time. If you've got 3 days, you've got enough. This brings us to the mind game. Why interviews aren't about answers. Here's a hard truth that most candidates don't learn until it's too late. Job interviews aren't exams. They're simulations. You're not being graded for right answers. You're being watched for how you think under pressure, how you communicate when you're unsure, how self-aware you are when things get real. The recruiter already has your resume. They've seen your LinkedIn. They know the basics. What they're testing now is something deeper. How do you narrate your own story? Can you handle complexity with clarity? Will you be easy to manage but hard to replace? And all of that is determined in the first few minutes, not by facts, but by energy, framing, and emotional composure. That's why preparing fast is not about memorizing. It's about building what I call mental flexibility under fire, the ability to walk into any room, any question, and think out loud without falling apart. Because the people who get hired aren't the ones who answer flawlessly. They're the ones who recover gracefully. So over the next 3 days, we're not just prepping answers. We're rewiring your mindset to project clarity under chaos. And we'll use one of the most overlooked psychological tools to do it. Let's talk about it. Day 1. Identity calibration. The most important prep step no one does. The biggest mistake candidates make in interview prep? Starting with the company. Reading every page of their website. Memorizing the mission statement. Watching a dozen YouTube videos about company culture. But here's the thing. That's not where prep begins. It begins with you. Day 1 is about identity calibration. Before you try to fit into their world, you need to understand who you are in this moment, and what version of yourself this role requires you to bring forward. Here's how you do it. Take out a journal or open a blank doc and answer these 4 brutally honest prompts. 1. What am I really good at, even when I'm under pressure? 2. What do I do that makes other people's work easier or better? 3. What kind of environment do I naturally thrive in, and why? 4. What's one story from my career that makes me proud and humble at the same time? This isn't just fluff. This is mental alignment work. Because when you understand yourself deeply, you stop overperforming in interviews. You stop pretending. And instead, you show up as someone who's already living their potential, not begging for permission to grow into it. Once you've done this 45-minute reflection exercise, you'll already feel the shift. You'll start spotting which parts of the job description match who you actually are, not just who you hope to be. This clarity is the foundation. Without it, everything else, mock questions, research, practice, is just noise. Day 2, reverse engineering the interviewer's brain. Day 2 is all about flipping the script. Most people walk into an interview trying to answer questions. But the real pros? They walk in trying to answer the question behind the question. Let me explain. When a recruiter asks, "Tell me about a time you handled conflict," they're not looking for a perfect story. They're testing for, can you stay emotionally steady in chaos? Do you blame others or own outcomes? Can you read people and de-escalate tension? So how do you prep for this? Here's the Day 2 mind hack. 1. Take the top 10 most common behavioral questions. 2. For each one, write down what they're actually testing for. 3. Now map each test to a story in your experience. 4. Don't script the story, outline the lesson you want them to remember. For example, if the real test is, are you emotionally mature? You might choose a story where you failed, then took accountability, adjusted your approach, and improved. That shows growth. That shows self-awareness. That makes you hireable. On Day 2, your goal is to train your brain to decode intent, not just respond to prompts. Because if you can answer the question they didn't ask, you'll come off not just prepared, but powerful. That's what makes people lean forward. That's what gets remembered. This brings us to the neural anchor technique, your memory hack for Day 3. Day 3 is where most people spiral. They rehearse. They stress. They over-prepare. But here's the neuroscience truth. You don't need to memorize answers. You need to anchor emotional memory. Here's how it works. The brain remembers best when a memory is tied to emotion, rhythm, and spatial recall. So instead of rehearsing a script, we'll use the neural anchor technique. 1. Choose 3 stories that showcase your strength, growth, and grit. 2. Link each story to a keyword, example, grit equals late launch recovery. 3. Now attach each keyword to a visual cue in your environment, something you'll see during the interview, a wall, your water glass, your hand. 4. Practice describing the story aloud once per hour for 3 hours, not word for word, just flow. By Day 3, you're not remembering words, you're remembering feelings, movement, and message. This trick is used by elite public speakers, trial attorneys, and even TED Talk presenters. Because it works. When the interviewer asks, "Tell me about a challenge," you won't panic or search for a script. You'll see your anchor. You'll feel the story. And your delivery will be alive, not memorized. This is how you bring presence and confidence into high-stakes conversations, by building muscle memory that can't be shaken. 6. Closing energy. How you end is how they remember you. No matter how well the interview goes, the final moments are where you leave your fingerprint. And here's the rule. You don't leave passively. You close intentionally. Before the interview ends, say something that leaves the room changed. Here's a format you can use. Thanks again for this conversation. Just to share honestly, I've been thinking deeply about where I want to grow next, and everything about this role aligns with the kind of work that stretches me in the right ways. If I'm chosen, I won't take that lightly. See, it's simple, human, and really. Recruiters remember energy. They remember presence, not perfection. And this final message shows 2 things. You're self-aware about growth. You're grounded in gratitude, not ego. The way you close becomes the story they retell when deciding. So close with clarity. Close with care. And close with the future you're already stepping into. 7. Final words. It's not about knowing everything, it's about knowing yourself. In 3 days, you won't become someone else. You won't magically eliminate nerves. And you don't need to. What you will become is a sharper version of who you already are, more aligned, more self-aware, and more present under pressure. That's the real secret. Great interviews aren't won with perfection. They're won with preparation that creates clarity and calm. So if you've got 3 days, use day 1 to reflect and recalibrate your identity. Use day 2 to decode what they're really evaluating. Use day 3 to emotionally anchor your message and stories. And when the time comes, walk in as the version of you who already knows your value, because that's the person they're hoping to meet. You don't need to fake confidence. You need to build clarity. And now you know how. If this helped you, give it a like, share it with someone cramming for their next interview, and subscribe for more real talk and deep strategy on the job search journey. You've got this. Go get the offer.